Now we're headed up into the Benedict River area. We're going to try a little inland river cruise. It's got about 2 hours for us to get over to the coast there. We've got to do a little provisioning, and then we're going to go up the river and spend a couple days up there just checking out what it's like to cruise on a river. We can't go too far up the river because of our draft, and the land is getting closer and closer to them. It feels like it's closing in. And then on the stern area over here, I mean, this is all, that's mud right there. Just like a boat length away from our stern.
Always on, always.
Hello, Karen and Tom welcoming you to our Life 4.0, where we explore this amazing planet one anchorage at a time.
We can't go too far up the river because of our draft, and we're not really sure the options for anchoring there. The chart and the books have noted places to anchor along the side of the river, but still we know there's tour boats that go up and down the river too, so we have to be out of the way enough, and we're just not quite sure how much room there is to swing. And a lot of the books seem to write about these places in perspective of that you have a shoal draft boat. We draw a little over 2 meters, and you know, I don't know that they're thinking of that kind of boat when they write these books in this area. There's a lot of small boats, sailboats here, so they can sneak up in these places and do quite well with anchoring. Hey, you can see more fish buoys over here. It's particularly tough when there's glare on the water. As you can see, they're a little hard to pick out. This one I probably shouldn't be coming this close to. Sometimes they have a line that's sort of slack in the water floating, especially at low tide. But this one is just a single buoy, so that's good. Another one over there. Very active fishing area apparently. Coming into the Benedict River. Got a lot of shallows here, but well marked with day markers. Another shallow spot here. We're kind of arriving just after low tide. We're planning it that way so we could get up the river with some current help. There's a little bit of current showing up on these marks here. But we're looking forward to this. We've got a little river cruise going on. And they love their lighthouses here, which they got a lighthouse there. And another even taller one up the distance there. Nice little beach. There's a marina up inside here, and we're either going to go into the marina or we're going to anchor nearby so we can get some provisioning.
You were born
Benedict River with tide coming in, helping us along.
I thought of you, hoping that
Testament to the popularity of the river here with all these river cruise boats. We just left Benedict a little while ago and went up the O'Day River here. Didn't go too far. We found a little point here where the river has a little side river here where this boat is anchored, and we came in here to check it out to see how deep the water is to anchor for the future, and we decided just to stay here. The ocean is down that direction. The town of Benedict is down there. Beautiful marina. I think this is called Combrit. The river Combrit that goes into the river O'Day. You can see a beautiful manor or something up on the shore over there. And these guys gave us the idea to try this out as an anchorage. Actually, there is a trimaran way up in there. as well. Super low draft, so they can get up in there. This area where this boat is less than a meter deep at low tide, so we can't get over there. We probed around here. There's a rock just below the surface there. We did kind of a close by, and it got down to 1.5 meters there, and the water's going to drop 2.5 meters, so that tells me that we could not stay there at all. So it'll be interesting when the low tide comes. Low tide is at 10 p.m. tonight. Right now there's a 3.5 meter tide range. Yeah, we're just trying to be very careful about where we put our boat. So boats just jammed in here in every little spot. There's a mooring field here, and on the other side of the river there, where there was an anchor symbol on the chart. So when we saw that, we were like, oh, okay, we're not gonna be able to anchor there. Way down here is the beginning of another mooring field on that side, on the other side of the river, that was an anchor symbol on the chart. And then way down there at the marina, Benedict Marina, there's probably 800 to 1,000 boats in slips there. I can understand why they'd find this river a good spot for the boat. It's very protected, safe up here, away from the big effects of wind and all that. And then you get a close access out to the ocean, like from the places we've been to the last couple days. So I'm thinking maybe a paddleboard ride up the little Cumbrit River here might be a good activity for the afternoon.
All about the things that we share. Marry me when the lights go out. You know I'll be there. I thought of you, hoping that the ripples would make you notice me.
Wow, these are great. Let's go all the way up the hill.
Sunlight on the ripples. Somehow you notice me, notice me.
I feel like the peak amount of current coming out of ebbing down the river, and we get this like tidal line going here where this water's coming out of the little inlet we're at, and this main part of the river is flowing down even faster, and it's kind of the two currents are hitting and merging. Our water's a little bit like dirtier, that one looks a little cleaner. You can kind of see the line all the way down there. So this is our first ebb current where we've been anchored here today. So this is kind of all new. And usually on these tidal rivers, the ebb current is stronger because there's natural river flow coming down, into the river system. And then combined with the effect of the tide level being low, kind of accelerates the water coming down through these rivers. The flood, on the other hand, is a little less current because you got flood waters coming up the river from the ocean, being counteracted by the natural flow drainage from the river system. And there is a current going up, but it's much less than the flood is much less than the ebb. So we're really curious right now as this ebb starts to peak what it's going to be like. I looked at some Google Maps images of this area, which were interesting enough taken during a low tide, which was helpful for identifying shallow areas. And this whole area was shallow over here, and this whole area was shallow over here, and there's like this narrow spot where we are and where that boat is that's water. A whole bunch of shallows way up there too, where we had just paddle boarded earlier. Yeah, you can actually see that drying out a lot now. Sitting here having a nice dinner, and the water level is just dropping super fast. This whole shoreline We paddled right up close to the trees there a couple hours ago. It's all dried up. These guys, the land is getting closer and closer to them. It feels like it's closing in. And then on the stern area over here, I mean, this is all, that's mud right there. Just like a boat length away from our stern. So, causes us a little bit of concern. I took the portable depth sounder and tested it off of our stern, and it's reading about 6.8, 7 meters deep. So still a good amount of depth, but it's just kind of freaky to have the mud right there. And we're still an hour before low.
I thought of you, hoping that the ripples would make you know.
All right, this is the Kerosene Manor. We understand they often have weddings here. Sometimes you can tour it. I guess the grounds look really beautiful. It's pretty cool right here on the river. And there's another house over on this side. It's a little hard to see.
So we picked up these flowers as we were paddleboarding along the little river inlet we were at. And it must be a naturally occurring flower here. I thought that they might have been planted by somebody, but you can see them along the shore here as well. Very beautiful.
Right now there's probably about 2 meters under our keel. We're probably going to get to be a little bit less than that. It's low tide right now, but it will start rising. So we just wanted to make sure that we were going to be at a time when it would start rising in case we went aground. Hopefully we won't.
You can see up ahead, it looks like the river stops. It actually turns around to the right there. It's like a big U-turn around this green day marker. So we're going to slow down and take this carefully. Nervous, Captain?
A little bit.
Tight turn, do a racing turn here. Go up on the bank. The river's opening up over here. It's nice to kind of have it all to ourselves. Whoops, I should say, I just said that and there's a tour boat coming up. You can kind of see what we're doing here. We're doing this like zigzag going through on the chart. Just did that one turn there, but we got a few more turns to make.
Around this corner.
You can see this castle coming into view here.
So we're wondering if this was done on purpose. It feels like it's at quite a heel, but I just can't imagine somebody getting into that situation without it being on purpose. Their keel's sitting down into a little rut. It almost looks like it might be even sitting on its rudder. That's a tough one. Please give our video a like if you enjoy our content. It would mean a lot to us, and it helps to have YouTube recommend our videos to others.
There's our captain, paying close attention to the chart plotter.
It's forever and never again. It's forever and never.
And for good reason. We got a couple bends coming up here in the river. We were wondering if these they paint all these markers white, and maybe it helps if you come up at nighttime to shine your light on these points of land, so you can get a reference point of where the bends are in the river. So I got them just spaced all along here, especially where there's a turn or a day marker that's on the side. They've also painted a rock white.
Tom was saying that this little entranceway right here is a place where boats would go in and anchor, and it's the picture on the front of the cruising guide that we're using. So, yeah, that's a little tricky. Maybe it's one of the drying out boats. I know the one of the cruising guides talks a lot about having a boat that dries out and the places you can get into. Our boat doesn't dry out. Okay, it's opening up a bit more. I guess up beyond this corner is the lake. All right, it's getting pretty shallow here. So we are gonna turn around and head back down. Here goes the tour boat next to us. As we head back down the river, we reflect on our experience. We loved the close-by wildlife and the excitement of the extreme tides. However, we came to realize that our current boat does not lend itself to cruising in these conditions. We struggled to find an anchorage where we would be safe and comfortable. There really was just the one that we utilized. Still, we are happy to have made the decision, and we were able to see what is an everyday experience for so many French boaters. And who knows, maybe we'll one day own a boat that can rest on her keel when the tide goes out.
I like telling jokes to the ocean wind as I stare out at the water where our children swim. And I like this canyon and its carved out space, cliffs like a hand shaking on the day of the earthquake. And I was born.
We are off toward Audierne to position ourselves for passing through the high current area known as the Raz de Seine. Join us next time as we explore the quaint town of Camaret-sur-Mer and the nearby cliffs and walking paths, rich with a history of protecting France from invaders from the sea. We'll be moving at a quick clip. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of the 9 countries we sail in this summer.
Never again. It's forever.
Or, for something entirely different, click over here to share our experience of visiting Malta. Thanks for watching.
Again.